Good to see you.
The Israelis, the Palestinians, President Trump, they all say they want a peace deal here. So what could possibly go wrong?
Well, that's right. You know, President Trump has said many times that he doesn't see any reason why there can't be a peace deal. And he's right. We can get a peace deal, but in his exuberance, he makes it sound simple. And he's about to find out just how difficult it is tomorrow when he meets with the Palestinian Authority president. And what he's going to find is that there are a lot of obstacles to achieving a peace deal. What he would be wise to do now is to pick out some very modest goals to accomplish in this first meeting. One thing that he is doing right is getting started on this right away early in his presidency. Previous presidents have focused on the Middle East peace process late in their presidency and haven't been able to make enough progress to achieve a peace deal. So if he concentrates on some modest goals and forming a relationship with Abbas that he can build on in the future and perhaps set up a visit with Abbas in the West Bank, those would be successes.
The Israelis are demanding the Palestinian Authority stop paying salaries to Palestinians who've been jailed for acts of terrorism. Israel's public security minister, he wrote an op-ed in the New York Times on Monday. This is part of it. The authority has enacted official legislation guaranteeing monthly stipends to every incarcerated terrorist and their families. The worse the attack and the longer the sentence, the higher the payout. Now, this is a demand which has support from a number of U.S. senators. So the issue apparently also came up in those pre-talks before this meeting. So if the president does ask for Abbas to stop those salaries, is he in a position to do it?
I think the president might ask that. And you saw Senator Lindsey Graham has introduced a bill in Congress to restrict aid to the Palestinian Authority until they remove this legislation and stop supporting the families of terrorists. I think that's a positive that the U.S. should be seeking. I don't know if Abbas can deliver on that. I would hope that Abbas will suggest that, privately at least, that he doesn't support that and he would like to see that change. And perhaps that's one of the concrete goals that Trump and Abbas can agree on trying to achieve in the future. It would be a very important success for the U.S. and for Israel, and it might be the type of compromise that would help bring Israel back to the table and make compromises on things that the Palestinian Authority wants, like restricting new settlements.
Yeah, well, we also have Donald Trump, the new president. As a candidate, he promised he would relocate the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. That would be symbolic. It would also be hugely controversial. Hasn't been talked about much recently, but Vice President Mike Pence says it's very much still on the agenda. Listen to this.
And the President of the United States, as we speak, is giving serious consideration to moving the American Embassy in Tel Aviv to Jerusalem.
So should the president decide to go ahead with and move the embassy, is that the end of what might be any potential peace process here?
I think it would be a mistake, especially this early in the presidency, to make a move like that that really doesn't accomplish anything for the U.S. It's not any better for us. We can't do diplomacy better by moving our embassy to Jerusalem. It really doesn't do anything for U.S. interests. So therefore, it would be a mistake, and it would, yes, make it much more difficult for Abbas and Palestinian leaders to deliver a peace deal if that is the first move by the Trump campaign that's substantive with respect to Israel and Palestine.
Yeah, it would be felt around, not just across the region, but around the world, and as you say, the questionable gains by moving the embassy. David, thanks for being with us. Good to talk to you.
Thank you.
A former South Carolina police officer has pleaded